Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Philosophical from the Let's Rap podcast, and this is your Freedom Friday. You know, this week after attending the Shatori event, I am forgiveness retreat. Man, what's been on my mind is I just want to relate and talk about a lot of what forgiveness means, the problem with forgiveness, and kind of what it means to me, right? So we look at forgiveness as somewhat stubbornness, right? What does forgiveness mean to you? How does it mean to you? And pretty much what has come to my mind is the fact that the baggage in relationships, the baggage in dating, the baggage in marriage, right? Um, we tend to step away from those situations, equating forgiving someone or forgiving your part in certain situations, whether you're dating, relationship, or marriage, as not wanting to do that because we view ourselves as we didn't play a part in what happened in those situations. And I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily accurate because it's two people in relationships. It's two people in dating. It's two people in a marriage, right? And it's almost looked at as if forgiveness is a way of saying I am forgiving the other person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to forget what that person did, right? And that's the problem as far as we're letting our stubbornness and our ego and our pride get in the way of future blessings, future opportunities, future network, future connections, future relationships. Why? Because we're bringing that baggage of what someone else did to us or the part we played in those situations to a new relationship. Why? Because I viewed my past relationships as a way of damage, as a way of I blame myself in those situations. And I took that blame and damage that I put myself in that situation to say it was my fault that those relationships failed into new relationships, thinking that this is what I had to do to get successful at a relationship, right? But at the same time, I didn't forgive the other person and understand the part they played in those relationships. And the other thing, I didn't forgive myself. And now looking back at it and thinking about it, I blame myself for a lot of those failed relationships when really I should have grown from them. And I didn't grow. I didn't grow mentally. I didn't grow emotionally. I didn't grow physically. And I stayed and got stuck in that same place for a long time for two reasons. I didn't forgive myself and I didn't forgive that person was that caused that issue in the relationship, whether you're dating, whether you're in a marriage. And I'll take it even a step further, right? There are a lot of men out there that are have holding grudges against, the environment they were brought up in. The environment as far as their mother and father, the way the father treated the mother. Because why? I'm one of them. I held a lot of grudges against my father what he did to my mother. And still to this day I hold it in sometimes. And that's again blaming myself because of the environment I was brought into and being able to and just hold that anger in, right? Holding that grudge, holding that like thing that now that I realize if I didn't do what I take the steps that I needed to do to forgive myself, forgive, my father, forgive family members, that can affect my future. As far as, being potentially being a father myself, not understanding the thoughts of a potential like my child and try to be that protector and the man I need to be for my father. I mean, be the man I need to be for my child. to be a father to that child the right way. Not saying that, my father wasn't a great man, he wasn't a great father, but holding in a certain grudge and a lack of forgiveness to that can really taint the way you need to be as a man, the way you need to be as a husband, the way you need to be as a father. And that's my point. The lack of forgiveness we have in certain relationships, past relationships, and even present and current relationships can damage who you are as a person, as a man, because we continue to think that what this person did to me doesn't deserve your freedom, right? Not saying that you have to forget or shouldn't be a measuring stick or being aware of the things that happened to you in the past to think that you need to just let it go and it'll never happen again. No, but you got to close that door and you gotta slam it close and forgive a lot of the environments that you were brought up on, whether that may be family members, friends, your parents. Not saying you got to forget it, not saying you don't have to be aware of it, but at the same time, forgive. Forgive your exes, right? The way they treated you, not necessarily saying that you didn't play a part in it, because we did. Because yes, we allowed it. But at the same time, from my perspective, and what I did was I blamed myself in those situations. And I didn't forgive myself and I didn't forgive my partners. And it disrupted the man I should have grown to be. The man that, if I would have realized this years ago, some time back, right, I would have had the understanding of the grief of what I went through. But I kept going through the same cycles and the same patterns. And some of you men out there are going through the same things. Because why? You don't want to feel like, and I did this too, you don't want to feel like you have to think about those memories. You want it to just go away and just disappear. And sometimes, do you ever feel like that you want to just dig into your mindset, into brain, and erase that memory out of your memories? And that's the trauma that I felt. I wanted to erase that memory bank, that time. And you know what else? It's hard to forgive someone because you've got to understand what they did to you, how they did it to you, when they did it to you. And you've got to be the bigger person to say, you know what? And even sometimes you got to reach out to that person. That's the toughest part right there. Reaching out to a person that hurt you and forgiving them for what they did in order for you to move forward in your life. Do you know how hard that is? Because it's very difficult. It's very hard. But we as men, we hold on to that. And we get to a place of woulda, coulda, shoulda on some areas that all it takes is to affirm yourself to say, I'm gonna forgive, but I'm not gonna forget. I'm gonna make myself aware, but not let it hold me down. Right. And that's the problem. That's the issue. We don't want to go back to the past and close that door shut. That's why there's a lot of confusion in dating, in relationship, and marriage, because we don't want to close that door shut. Leave that baggage where it belongs. A simple saying, you know what? Not necessarily saying you apologize for what they did, but I forgive you for the things that you did to me, how you did it to me. Yes, I played a part in that, but I'm growing from that. And affirm yourself every day that forgiving someone else can make you the better person that you are today. And it's taken me 30 plus years to do that. Nobody wants to be the be we don't want to be the better man to say, you know what? This is my baggage, and the same things are happening over and over and over and over again. We don't want to make a change because it determines you to put action behind that change. And that's the issue. The solution is being aware and coming to terms with that, forgiving, not forgetting. Because when you forgive, that weight is off your shoulders. It's no longer holding you back from the man you should be. And it's making you aware of what you need and what you want out of your next relationship, out of your next partner. And another problem is we don't want to forgive because we wanted that person that hurt us so bad that we try to get a clone, but wishing they were, it's almost like dating the exact same person that just hurt you, but taking out those bad memories, taking out those actions that they did to you. And what that does is all you're doing is not only cloning that person, but you're cloning your memories. Because everything they do in that perspective can trigger you. And those triggers are from the lack of forgiving. But you want to forget, but you haven't forgiven or understood the reason why you're not forgiving this person, right? It's all about being the bigger man. To be the man you can be today. Free yourself from just forgiving, not necessarily forgetting. Forgive those that have basically done you wrong. Yes, you played a part into it. Yes, analyzing who you were in those situations, not necessarily saying you're perfect because we're not. We played a part in that too, but also forgiving and letting go and putting that weight off your shoulders. Free yourself. Free yourself. Free yourself. I'm Philosophical from the Let's Rock podcast. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the YouTube page. Follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Let's Rock Podcast. I'm Philosophical. I'm out. Peace.